How's it going, guys? Today we're going to do an in-depth strategy guide on one of the new traits for TFT set 14. The trait is called Golden Ox. I'm going to do a brief description of the trait and then I'll get right into the strategy guide. Golden Ox gain damage amp and have a chance to drop gold on kill. If you spend 8 gold on rerolls or XP in a single turn, permanently increase their damage amp and the gold required for the next bonus. Rerolls count double towards gold spent. In order to activate the trait, Golden Ox must have fought last round. There's 3 tiers to this trait. Each one gives you a different base for your damage amp that could be multiplied upon. And then they also give you a base percentage chance to drop gold on kill from Ox Force units. And here are the units down there. As for the requirements to play Golden Ox, I'd say the single most important requirement is having a lot of money. You need a lot of money at the beginning of the game, mid-game, and late game. So you don't have to mess up your econ at any points. You could buy the units you want, and you could hit the high Golden Ox intervals. You also need a lot of health, because you want to survive this for as many rounds as possible to have the option of hitting those Golden Ox intervals whenever it's most efficient and convenient for you. And then lastly, preferably you have an XP augment on 2-1. Econ augments are okay, just general gold augments, but I prefer XP augments, so you don't have to click buy XP until you unlock Golden Ox, which doesn't happen until the beginning of the mid game. If you get an XP augment, you could usually keep up with the pace of the lobby naturally, with maybe only having to click buy XP once in the beginning of the game, and maybe once around Krugs. As for encounters go, same deal. You want a gold encounter. You want one of the encounters that increases your econ somehow. So I think these are the 4 best right here. Either of the Crab Rave options, Twisted Fate, because it just straight up gives you gold, and then Urgot usually gives you some gold, Champions, or you could either give you extra items to play on your Golden Ox units. So I think those are all good. As far as augments go, I think this is the best. I use it in the video we're going to watch today. It does exactly what I was talking about earlier. It gives you XP naturally each round, so you don't have to worry about spending too much early, and you could keep up with the lobby. Cluttered Mine also has a similar principle. Passive XP each round, so you can keep up with your levels throughout the game. I'm going to briefly talk about itemization here on some of the common units that you're going to be playing during this game. Philios is going to be your main carry whenever you're playing Ox Force, unless other teams around Annie become more apparent. But for right now, it's Ginsu's Eye-Edge and Last Whisper on a Philios. He could probably switch out maybe the Last Whisper for a Hex Tech if you have an Even Shroud somewhere else. But for the most part, this is what you want to shoot for on him. Zaya, like Spear of Shojin, Infinity Edge, plus 1 more. Could be Deathblade, Giant Slayer, Guard Breaker, another Infinity Edge. Maybe even a red buff, but probably one of those sword items. Or a crit item. Annie likes blue buff and Nashers, so she could spam her ability. They just reworked her a little bit to make Tibbers more reliant off of your AP scaling, so I think the Death Cap is going to start being the new best 3rd item for her, because it gives her that AP scaling right away in the beginning of the fight. Leona likes Warmogs and Protector's Vow. Warmogs obviously for the health, Protectors for the shields because she's a Vanguard and they get durability while shielded. And then I like Stone Plate because I like to frontline her throughout the mid game, and it's just a good 3rd item on her. Braum likes your support frontline items, so Redemption, Sunfire, maybe Even Shroud or Ionic Spark. Protector's Vow is also good on him since he's a Vanguard. And finally, Viego. I think you want these 3 items specifically. Jeweled Gauntlet, Haj, Q, and S for damage, healing, and crit. I think Rabadon's Death Cap plus Bloodthirster plus QSS could also be a good combo, but you really just want damage, healing, and QSS. Now I'm going to get into some of the team comps and strategies around that. So in general, most games, when you're playing Golden Ox, you're actually only going to be playing 2 Golden Ox because it's part of the very popular marksman comp. I'm sure this comp is pretty familiar to most of you. I think a lot of people just aren't taking the Golden Ox aspect to its maximum potential with this comp. So I'm just going to explain the pacing briefly. You really want to find something that doesn't make you force too much gold on rerolling or spending XP early. So you could wait until mid game when you have either Jarvan and Alistar or Jarvan and Graves on your board, so you could start activating those Golden Ox procs. So in the beginning of the game, this is going to be one of your openers. You could either go for an Anima squad opener, which revolves around starting with Alawi, Silas, and Vayne. Vayne could hold a lot of the 80 items that you want on Aphelios or Xayah later on, so she's a good holder, and this team comp starts to naturally transition into that team very well. You could add Galio and Jarvan for your Bastions, Vanguards, and Slayers to go with Vayne. You could add Senna in the mix whenever you want, maybe go for 4 Slayers around 7 before you fully transition into the other marksman board. Another route you could take is playing around Jhin with Kindred as your marksman, and then whatever bruisers you could fit in, along with Varus. You don't have to itemize Varus here, because that's another option you could take, but maybe in this comp you want Varus if you have a good Exotech item option for Jhin. If not, you could just forget about Exotech and add 4 bruisers or Golden Ox whenever you can early on. Usually Jarvan can go with this team too somehow if you want to do 2 Vanguards. The third option with your early game is the Executioner option. You're going to want to play this with Graves and Alistar as your 2 Golden Ox early, and then Graves and Varus are going to be your carries mid game for that comp. So yeah, I forgot to mention earlier, here you're just going to want to work in usually an Alistar, maybe even a Graves, whenever you can, probably around level 6 or around Krugs, to start activating your Golden Ox intervals. It's not extremely straightforward. I actually have a little bit of a tech to make this easier, so you could still play your strongest board throughout the game while only having a Golden Ox in when you need it to be. I'll show you throughout the rest of the video. So here's one more option for your mid game. You could go with a Street Demon opener. It's usually Echo and Mundo plus Rengar, or Echo and Mundo plus Jinx, depending on what items you get. If you start off with crit items like Infinity Edge, Hodge, Last Whisper, I would suggest playing around the Executioners. And if you start off with a Ginsu's, Last Whisper, I would start playing around Jinx and throw in a Rapid Fire. Then you could get Golden Ox through Alistar or Jarvan. Alistar will give you Bruiser, but Jarvan's also just a good unit, so whatever you upgrade and whatever whatever you feel like putting in at that moment. First comp, it's pretty basic. This is just your standard marksman Vanguard comp with Anima squad. You do one of the openers I was saying earlier until you have these guys. Usually it's 4 Vanguard, 4 marksman, these exact units. Once you go 9, you could play Aurora to give you Anima squad and Dynamo, and up until that point you could just play another Anima squad member. Usually it's like Leona, not Leona, Alawi, because she's just another good frontliner. If you are high rolling, if you are investing more into the Golden Ox trait that game, and you're able to achieve some of the very high intervals, and you have a lot of money, I think this team comp is a step up from the previous marksman comp, because it revolves around 4 Golden Ox, and you're able to keep 4 Vanguard and 2 marksmen. You go down from 4 to 2 marksmen, but the damage amp from the Golden Ox usually makes up for that, and you have 2 extra carries. So yeah, the requirements for this one is you need a little bit more gold, you need to be a little bit healthier than the other one, and I'd also say you want some extra items to put on Annie and Viego. Because if you only have offensive items for Xayah and Aphelios, then you might as well stick with the marksman version. But yeah, if you're high rolling, have a lot of extra gold, have a lot of golden ox stacks already, and items for these two, I would suggest going for this version. Lastly, this is the super high roll version, and this also includes a spatula. So if you're high rolling, doing very well with golden ox, have a lot of gold, have a lot of health, and you get a spatula, I would suggest going for this team that involves 6 golden ox. Don't look at the stats on the side right here because they're not actually all activated. But this will be your base team right here. Leona, Jarvan, Viego, Annie, Xayah, Aphelios. This is 5 golden ox, Vanguard, Marksman, and then I would suggest one of these trees to supplement the rest of your team, depending on what items you have. If you have Kobuko or Ziggs items, I would go with this line. Put an Alistar as your 5th golden ox, and the emblem on either Kobuko or Ziggs for your 6. And then supplement it with Yuumi for strategist, amp, and anima squad. This is a whole level 10 thing right here, so yeah, you gotta be high rolling a lot. Same thing right here. This is your other option. I'd say if you have Urgot items or maybe Vex items, you want to put the emblem on one of these two. Put in Graves for Golden Ox Executioner, Vex for extra Executioner, and Senna for extra Divinicore. That's pretty much it for these comps. I think currently these are kind of the only viable comps. As we go on in the set, maybe there will be other ways to maybe just play around Annie, or just play around maybe another one of the Ox Force units. You could also do something similar with the Executioner reroll board. You could just play Alistar and Graves, or maybe Jarvan and Graves, or Viego and Graves. Just play 2, not worry about it that much. But for right now, I think those are the main comps that you should be looking out for. I looked up online, found other ones like this stupid one, but it just doesn't make that much sense to me. The front line seems really weak, and there's just a lot of specific item requirements that you don't have a whole lot of options for. So I don't really like that. Alright, let's get into the video. We just start off with a standard opener, just picking up pairs, looking at our options. Make sure we pick up everything. We have to make a quick decision here to make gold, make our first 10. I always think it's best to make your first 10 and get your econ rolling, and just sacrifice those other units that you hit. I think I still have 2 rounds I'll see 2 shops so I could build some sort of team. I just held on to the Vayne because I think that was the best unit. And you already know the deal here. I'm already thinking about, this is going to be a high gold game. I made econ early. I have a decent enough opener. And it's an econ encounter. So I'm just going to, I already know at this point in the game that I'm going into Ox Force. So I'm going to start planning for that immediately. Vayne is still one of the most consistent carries through the mid game at this point in the set. So, first item I want to build is Ginsu's, but we just have to get those items slammed anyways. So, I think that was the best way to do it for now. Activate Bastion. Yeah, with just a Vayne 1 and Anima squad, I'm doing a crap ton of damage early. Way more than I think I should be supposed to. That's a pretty good shot for me. Some of the units I'm looking for already. Jarvan's a really nice pickup. He's going to be able to give me Vanguard plus Slayer last round, or next round. And even against a Twisted Fate 2 with Syndicate, it's kind of just no problem for my board. This Poppy is it's kind of a nice pickup. So with the Slam and Augment, I'm already level 5 without having to spend any of my gold. I have a really efficient board going on already. And I think I'm going to be able to streak for the next couple rounds. We don't want to put in Golden Ox just yet, because it'll kind of ruin our board. I want to keep the 5 streak into the minion rounds, just to make sure I have the most amount of gold possible. Braum will come back. Oh, okay. I thought I sold him right there, but whatever. It's fine to keep him too. Alright, here's the tech I was talking about. I'm probably still going to take out Alistar next round, but since I played Alistar during the minion round and activated Golden Ox, when I spend XP next round, I'll be able to activate the first interval. And I'm exactly 8 gold away, so I just have to activate the first interval, and that's enough for me right now. And I'm taking Golden Ox out temporarily, because I still want to play my strongest board to maintain my streak. Moving my items around, playing my strongest board, making sure to look up all my units, make sure I'm doing the best possible during the mid game. Make sure to slam all my items down. It was a pretty good hit. I got exactly what I wanted. Wanted to finish the Warmogs and the Ginsus at least. And the sword is kind of just icing on the cake. So perfect items, good champions. Kind of snowballing already, and these are the exact kind of parameters you need for a good Ox Force game, or I'm sorry, Golden Ox game. I hate preparation. Ascension's not usually that good. I'm trying to blow kids up immediately with Golden Ox. Healing's okay, but that's kind of for melee comps. Mana Flow's not going to get me that far either. That was okay. Blazing Soul, same deal. It's okay, but really just not going to get me too far. With one champion at a time, and it's going to be random, so it could go to like 9 other units besides my Ox Force units. I'm just going for Epitaph because it's always strong, always a great augment, and I'm going to have a decent amount of frontline. And if there's anything I'm going to be lacking this game, it's going to be frontline, because I'm going to have a lot of Golden Ox units and a lot of stacks from there. So just want to supplement all the damage I'm going to be doing with good frontline. I hit a very lucky Leona right there, and that lets us activate 4 Vanguards plus Anima Squad and Golden Ox. So now that I actually have it in my team, I'm free to activate those Golden Ox intervals whenever I want. And it's all about doing it as efficiently as possible. You want to do it on as many rounds as possible without ruining your econ or your tempo. And it's kind of just a lot easier to do when you have a lot of money. I want to get to a high level quick, so just making sure to only spend my gold on XP, only as much as I need each round. Yeah, this Bane with Ginsu's is just handling everything for me. Lucky Leona is just eating everything for me. Life is good. In a normal game, I would have gone straight to 7 right there because I could have done it without breaking below 50 econ, but in a Golden Ox game, you have to play a little bit differently. Somehow I'm last pick and I was able to get an Aphelios. I already have a good amount of Golden Ox stacks, so I say whatever. Forget about Vayne. She's been doing good, but Aphelios is going to be better. Gonna have to make sure to get Anima Squad in too, because that was responsible for a lot of my damage. And Marksman. Very nice hits all around. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So yeah, I guess luck is one of the parameters for this game too. Or for this team comp. Free Zaya. I am getting very lucky with all of my shops this game. I like having Leona as my solo frontline and the rest of my units one layer back, because as you just saw, if they have their units set up all in the front row, they'll cuddle around my Leona, and my Aphelios ult will be a little bit more efficient, and my Leona ult will be a little bit more efficient, even though it doesn't do much. Later on, I'll change it. Keep making sure to activate my Golden Ox intervals every round. Let's see. I think I got a little distracted from my egg right here. And I actually forgot to slam my items down for like a round or two. Yeah, I just got a little distracted and forgot to put my items down for the bench, so I miss out on like 2 rounds of slamming value, but no big deal. I'm way too rich already. Some of these boards are looking crazy, but still snowballing, still streaking. Yeah, that was pair of 4s, so I definitely am having more than 2 4 costs on my team, so that was out for sure. I already denied regular Ascension earlier, so I don't like that. Randuin's Omen's good for teams with lots of frontline, like especially bruisers that need the armors, but my frontline's not going to be that crazy, so it's not going to be efficient for me. I'm not running a lot of 3 costs, so here we go. I went with that one just to have a little Omnivamp so I could go all in on the damage from the rest of my units, and they could just have a little bit of Omnivamp to sustain. And it gives me gold once I heal at a certain amount, so that's even better. And the other one was a support item. I high rolled again, probably got the best one for me, Zeke's Herald. Why aren't you slamming that? You're going down, buddy. Yeah, I was about to slam the Crick Glove down. I just forgot I had slamming, I guess. I think that's the last round. I decide not to do my Golden Ox interval right now because I only have 50 something gold and I don't want to ruin my econ. Oh no, you're too late. You're too late, sorry. Oh well. Slamming doesn't work if you put the items on a character on your bench. The items have to be placed on somebody on your field in order to work. I abstain from the Golden Ox interval again because, again, want to keep my econ healthy. It's getting a little expensive, and I know I'm not just going to be able to do it every round, so we got to be a little careful about when we do it at this point. I don't have any healing from that augment because I'm just not taking any damage to begin with. Our shops are just insane this game. Like, I guess marksmen are uncontested or something in this lobby, and I've just like naturaled all of the champions I need without having to roll. So it's a very lucky game too. That's kind of what I'm saying. If you don't get this lucky, if you don't snowball this hard, if you're not this rich, just go for the 4 marksman version. You're probably capping out at this team right here. This is probably like your end game team with everything leveled up. Yeah, I'm already starting to take the weaker champions off my planner. Just trying to figure out exactly how high I'm going to be able to cap this game. My Golden Ox stacks are really good so far, so I want to go up to at least 4. There's some of those executioners in my shop, but I don't really have the money for them right now, and I don't have the items to put on them right now. And I still have to put items on Zaya and Viego, so just no point in holding on to them right now. They'll come back when I'm level 10. "15 streak into chickens." Very nice. It's kind of hard to lose any game at this point, even if you're not playing a snowball comp. With a nice little Shojin on Zaya. HP belt can go on. That's fine. Probably selling him later anyways. And we finally take our first loss, but just barely. too rich for anybody's business, and we just keep hitting freeze eyes after freeze eyes. I don't think we've rolled much at all this game, or if at all. And I have 7 eyes for free. This guy has lots of 3 stars, but not a whole lot of great items on them. I think he's still gonna be able to beat me. Let's get some lucky rain guard jumps. At least I was able to get some healing that fight. I think it would have been fine to level up this round. I'd only be dropping to 40, but I guess I'm really min-maxing it. Okay, yeah, there we go. I decided to level up most of the way and just use rerolls to get to the remaining Ox Force interval, because since the gold is doubly efficient that way, it just saves me a little bit of money. And I need to fill out my board a little bit anyways, so rolling at 9 doesn't hurt that much. We get that last 2 XP for free from slamming. And it's time to start transitioning. Just a little bit. I don't know why I didn't pick up the cubicle. It's probably because I don't have an Alistar. Yeah, I think that other line is kind of closed off to me right now because I don't have an Alistar and I don't have items for Annie. So you go with that Kobuko, Yumi, Ziggs line if your Annie is really strong. But this game, she's not. I don't have any items for her. Felios was just not giving up there, but sadly, wasn't able to save the fight. It's all good. I almost forgot about the egg on my bench, but all these losses are going to help me proc it, help me get a little bit more gold to activate the last golden ox box. Except not really, because I didn't get any gold. But this will help a lot. I don't know if Ginsu's or Infinity Edge was the right choice there, but I like attack speed. I like looking at it, so I picked Ginsu's. Didn't like any third Xayah item right there, so I just picked up a item for my Viego since I want to start stacking him up. Oh yeah, this Viego's going in now. That guy had bad misfortune items though. I don't know why he had blue buff on her. There's our gold from health as wealth. And that allows us to start doing a little rolling at 10. Obviously we can't buy any more XP, but again, when you buy a reroll, that gold is twice as effective towards getting your golden ox stacks, so we're going to be able to use that a lot to our advantage right now. The only problem we're having is our bench space. Still don't have any extra items for Urgot. There's not much left time in the game. I still need a third Xayah and Viego item. So I'm just going to stick with this 4 Vanguard comp for a little bit longer.
I will fight as long as I stand. Our deeds shape the future.
Decide not to upgrade the J4 because it's not going to do too much at this point, and I'd rather just have the gold. And if we weren't getting lucky enough this game, there's a golden ox emblem on this carousel. Perfect for us. It's like Mort just handed us this game for free. He wanted me to make this video. That will be a perfect final item for Xayah. We decide to finally ditch those extra vanguards because they're just a little bit boring right now. And we are able to get in 6 golden ox. Just make sure to hit our intervals. The way Ox Force scales is a little bit exponential, not really, but the higher value intervals like 52 here will increase your base damage a lot more than the earlier ones. Like it'll start off as just like 1 to 3% on the early stages, but now it's increasing me by like 6 to 8% every interval. So it's really important to make sure you get to these last higher intervals. I want to go for Garen 3 here, but I'm already having such a good Ox Force game. I'm just like, forget it. I want to respect the Ox Forces. I don't think anybody else in the lobby is going for 3-star 5 cost, so I don't really need it. Well, maybe I don't activate the interval this round. Maybe I decide, or maybe I'm thinking at this moment that I do want the Garen. And I don't care about the Ox Force, but I think I go back on that later.
That really hurt.
Your sacrifice is part
I don't really have any other carries with items that's worth putting the Golden Ox mod on, so I decided to just put the Vanguard mod on Garen, since I could use a little bit of extra frontline right now, and he gets a really big shield, so not bad on him.
Beaten by a little girl. Ha! I must not fall.
Finally get a third item from Viego, so I think at this point he's strong enough to frontline. So I'm going to scooch my Leona over a little bit. I mean, he was probably strong enough to frontline already. I probably should have scooted him as soon as I got him leveled up, but I'm just going to put him a little bit forward so the enemy team is more clumped up in general, and he could be a little bit more efficient with his ults. At last fight, I got everything going. Max Viego items, Scythe 3, Great Ox 4 stacks, and everything kind of just went well. GG. Thank you guys all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.